What do you do for work? How did you design your build? Where do you park? Where do you shower? Do you get scared? Do you get lonely? Do you have friends? Yeah, that's the game of 20 questions I play every single time I meet somebody new on the road. I love answering these questions, even though I get them a million times. Really, I just love talking to people. So, without further ado, I figured today I would take you through the top 20 most asked questions about living in my 4Runner. So we're gonna do this rapid fire style. Here we go. Number 1, what do I do for work? You're watching it. I do videography and content creation full time. I did work corporate for about a year to save up some money, but this is now what I've done full time for a year. Where did you get your build? My dad and I built it, which really means my dad built it and I was moral support, or what's the word for like annoyance that's not annoyance? Because I was the critique. I was the person on the construction site that's like, the construction workers are trying to build the house and they're like, what if? That was me. Okay. How long did it take to build? It took us 12 nights or so of working about 4 or 5 hours a night. How did we design it? So I knew I wanted the build to be as tall as my refrigerator, which is about 14 inches, because I wanted to be able to lay across the entire width of the back seat. And that explains how wide it is. It's as wide as it can possibly be. What about the drawers? How did we decide on those widths? Well, the small drawer was going to hold my stove, and it does hold my stove, so we had to make that just a little bit wider than the stove, and the other one was just as wide as it was going to be. Hopefully that made sense. That was a little confusing. Where do you park? I park all over the place. Mainly in 24-hour business locations, sometimes in residential areas, sometimes at boat ramps, sometimes on random streets, sometimes under bridges, sometimes down by the river, sometimes in the desert. I park in a lot of places, but I can do a full video on that later because that's a long answer. Where do I shower? That's easy. Planet Fitness or local gym. I can think of one time when I did not use either of those locations to shower, and that was in Oregon. I believe it was Seaside, Oregon, because there's a shower for the surfers along the coast, and I may have used that because I was in a crunch and I didn't want to drive 50 or 60 miles into town to go shower. So that is the one instance when I didn't use a Planet Fitness. How do I go to the bathroom? I go into the gas station or the Planet Fitness or the library or a park. I really don't go in my car, like, ever. I do have a plan for that though, which is this. I find this ironic because TMI, I actually had to use this emergency pee kit last night because I was being a little lazy. It does work really easily. So this is a pee funnel, pee cloth, just like regular times. And the other instances that I have to use the restroom, I just make sure I'm near town. Where is my favorite place I've been? I'm so glad you asked because I get to talk about Colorado. I love Colorado. I always end up back in Colorado no matter how hard I try to stay away. However, if I make it to Alaska, I have in my head that that will become my new favorite place. But for now, Colorado has my heart. Oh, also because I feel like I need to be specific, I like Silverton, Colorado the best. How do I stay safe? I don't put myself in situations where it would be unsafe. That is the biggest part of staying safe, that and situational awareness, knowing who's around me, what cars, what people. If I don't like an area, I'll leave. That's the biggest part of staying safe. Do I have things to keep me safe? Of course, but 95% of it is just being aware. What is the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to you? Me. I don't have any good juicy stories. I'm sorry. See the last question for why I don't have anything bizarre or interesting. Although I did get offered a steak at a park. That was a bit weird. It was not by a person that I was expecting to offer me a steak, so that was what made it weird, but yeah, I politely declined. Okay. How long have I done this? I have been on the road in the 4Runner since May of 2021 with a few little breaks here and there for the holidays, and I have been on the road since September of 2020. How long are you planning on doing this? Oh gosh, I wish I knew. I don't know. It changes every single day. Some days it's forever. Some days I'm going to Alaska and buying a cabin. Some days I'm buying an apartment, getting an apartment, renting an apartment, whatever it is. I don't know. We'll find out. We're along for this ride together. How do you decide how long to stay in each place? That is purely dependent on weather. If I get too hot, I will leave. If I get too cold, I will leave. Usually it's too hot. That is the bigger issue, which I'll talk about more in a second. But that's really how I decide how long I'm staying in each place. Now, how do I decide where to go? And that is dependent on what I want to do in the places that I am planning on going to. So I'm not going to go to Oregon or Washington in May like I did last year, because that was way too early to enjoy the hiking and the fun areas without being covered in mud. So I decide when to go based on what I want to do in that area. How do I stay warm? I have this backpacking quilt. I highly recommend getting a backpacking quilt and not just using blankets. I might do a full video on my sleep setup because I have it pretty dialed in now, but this thing is with me at all times. I am in Florida. It is 80 degrees here and I still have this with me. So that's how I stay warm. It's the only thing I really use to stay warm other than a little down blanket in case of emergency, but that thing right there. Also, before I forget, another part of staying warm is a mattress, a nice mattress. This is gonna turn into a sleep setup video. The gist is memory foam freezes in cold weather. You don't wanna use memory foam in cold weather. A mattress like this is a insulated foam combo. It's the X-Bed Mega Mat Duo. It will work regardless if it's 0 degrees. It's actually rated down to -40, and I can still use it when it's 80 degrees and it's comfortable. How do I stay cool? Can somebody answer this question for me right now? Because I don't is the best answer I have for this. I just go to bed really sweaty and appreciate the fact that I'm going to wake up and walk down the beach in the morning. There's really no good way to stay cool. Use a fan, but that takes a lot of electricity, so I usually just suck it up and fall asleep as fast as I can. Sometimes I will idle my car if I am absolutely miserable and laying there in sorrow and sweat. I will turn on my car and let it idle for the 45 minutes or so that it takes before it shuts off automatically. Thank you, Toyota, for adding that awesome feature. Do I get lonely? I mean, yeah, but I feel like everybody gets lonely. That's not exclusive to me because I live in a car. Which brings me to the next question. Is it easy to make friends? Yes, it is. It is easy to make friends, even if you're an introvert. So personally, I'll find a group event if I'm really struggling to make friends in an area, and I'll go to that. Every part of my being will tell me to leave, but as long as I suck it up, by the end of it, I'll have some new friends, and it's always worth it. So that is one way that I make friends. Another way that I make friends is I go to a busy parking lot and I open up my tailgate to my car and I wait and pretend to be busy or clean my car. And inevitably somebody will approach me and ask me about the build, and then I have a new friend. It's simple as that. What is my favorite part of the road? My favorite part of the road is something that I just touched on, and that is the people. It is so much fun meeting everybody out here from all walks of life, from all ages. Yeah, it doesn't get old. And on that note, that is all I have for you today. That was rapid fire 20 questions. I know I didn't get too deep into any of those questions in particular, but if you want to hear more about a particular subject, let me know in the comments down below and I will get to them in a video or answer them in the comments. As usual, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.